Okay, before I start with anything, let me ask all of you who are present in this classroom today, did you take your UPSR examinations?
Yes!
Why, of course, I'm sure most of you took your UPSR examinations. So now you might wonder, why is this guy even asking about my UPSR examinations? What does that have to do with this today? Okay, well you're in luck, because today our topic is going to be on UPSR. But before we dive deeper into that, let me start first with Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good evening to respected lecturers and beloved friends present here today. The title of our presentation today is going to be The Abolishment of UPSR. It's a mistake! But before that, allow me to introduce you with our very handsome presenters today. First, we have myself, Hafiz bin NORDI, also known as Andika, accompanied by my lovely PIRDAUS bin SABRI, also known as PIRDAUS. And last but not least, we have our friend here, Hariz bin Hafiz, also known as Tony. Now, first things first, let me take all of you a trip down history lane. We are going to learn the origins of UPSR. Introduced in 1988, UPSR replaced the old Standard 5 assessment, also known as Penilaian Darjah 5. It emerged in response to the need for a standardized national level examination for all Year 6 students across Malaysia. It is a part of a broader education reform during the late 1980s aimed at improving curriculum consistency and assessment reliability. Now, Ibrahim 2009 stated that UPSR reflected a shift in national policy towards data-driven educational planning and early academic interventions. Without further ado, let's move to the next one, is the purpose of UPSR. Firstly, the purpose of UPSR is to provide a clear transition point from primary to secondary education. Education in Malaysia 2025 stated UPSR acted as a checkpoint to ensure students had mastered essential skills before progressing to more advanced subjects in secondary school. What this basically means is UPSR is going to be a point to test the students whether they are ready to take secondary education or not. Next is to help identify students' strengths and weaknesses for better placement and interventions. The reason for this is results offer insights into areas where students excel or struggle, guiding teachers and parents to provide additional support. Letter 2021 said that the test results will show the strength and weaknesses of students which can be used to further educate them. Moving on, the other purpose of the UPSR is to assess student proficiency in Bahasa Melayu, English, mathematics, and science. The reason is UPSR provided a measurable benchmark of students' understanding in key subjects, enabling early identification of learning gaps and ensuring they met the foundational competencies required for secondary education. And last but not least, it is to support data-driven policy decisions in educational planning. Nationwide UPSR data enabled the Ministry of Education, also known as MOE, to monitor trends, assess policy impact, and target underperforming areas. This feedback loop enables policymakers to make data-driven decisions to enhance the quality of education in Malaysian primary schools, said Muhammad Saleh, 2013. Now, right now we are going to be looking at three perspectives of concern, because as we all know, PIRDAUS was abolished in the year 2021, and the result of this, it brings up a few mixed reactions from this point of view. First, let us take a look at the teacher's point of view, or the teacher's concerns. First, what the teacher's concern is in readiness and training. Joachim and Hashim 2021 stated that many teachers reported they were not adequately trained to implement school-based assessment, leading to inconsistent practices and confusion. Next is assessment bias. Teachers were worried about the lack of standardization and the possibility of bias in evaluating students without a national exam, said Susila Makolutu and Kun 2010. What this means is assessment bias might happen if the teachers like another student more than another student. As an example, if the teachers prefer students A, she might or he might give extra marks for students A, while students B are left with this mark. Last but not least is loss of benchmark. The removal of a standardized nation's exams like UPSR eliminated a clear benchmark for comparing students' performance across different schools and regions, said Majid 2017. What this means is the teachers lost the benchmark. Now means now that they cannot compare and give and identify where are the weaknesses in students. Now, if we were to look from a different point of perspectives, we have the parents' concerns. Now, the parents are concerned in the lack of transparency. Some parents feared that without a centralized exams, they wouldn't fully understand how their child's academic ability is being measured. Annual 2024 supports this by saying parents are left in the dark on how their children are being assessed under the new system. It means that parents will not be able to see if their children are learning hardworkingly or not. Next is unequal evaluation. There was concern that assessment might vary in strictness from one school to another, leading to an unfair advantages or disadvantages. Parent Action Group for Education 2014 stated there are concerns over inconsistent grading and bias across different schools. What this means is some schools may be more lenient towards their students, while other schools may be more stricter towards their students, which will affect the grading and the unfair advantages of the other schools. Am I right, Zaid?
Yes, you are right.
Are you staying with me, Zaid?
I'm staying.
Thank you very much. Last but not least, we have reduced academic discipline. Parents are worried that the absence of a major exam could reduce students' motivation and focus in primary school, as Malaysia Now 2021 stated that without exams, students may lack clear academic goals and motivation to study. That is why I'm pretty sure all of you have heard the case of some students still doesn't know how to read, write or count, even when they're supposed to be learned a long time ago.
Yes, I will.
Next, we have the society concern. Firstly, the society is concerned in public trust in the system. The sudden removal of a long-standing national exam raised questions about the reliability and fairness of the new system. Malaysia now, 2021, said that some said there would be no transparent gauge to measure children's achievements in learning. Next is academic standards. Some segments of society worried that abolishing UPSR might lead to a decline in national academic performance and competitiveness. As the Age Malaysia 2024 said that if PPS is really effective, why are 42% of 11 years old still unable to read, write, and count? Okay. Lastly is the cultural mindset shift. Malaysia now 2021 stated that in a society that has long valued examination success, the removal of UPSR challenges deeply ingrained beliefs about how academic achievement should be measured. Now, let's move on to the importance of standardized examinations. Firstly, standardized examinations help build exam disciplines. It prepares students mentally and emotionally for future national exams by developing focus, time management, and exam techniques. It is for that early exposure helps students build resilience and confidence in facing pressure situations later in life. Like I said, UPSR is like a checkpoint that helps us prepare for another checkpoint, which is SPM. Are you staying, Hazamin? Are you staying, Hazamin?
Yes, I'm staying.
Next is provide recognized academic records. Standardized results are trusted indicators of achievement for scholarship, streaming, and other academic decisions. They offer credible documentation of students' abilities that can be used for future opportunities. Participant is corporates or corporates like Petronas or Mara. They need to have some indicators so that they know if these students are worthy for their scholarships or not. Last but not least, it is to ensure a clear transition to a secondary school. UPSR acts as a structured checkpoint to evaluate readiness and place students in a suitable academic path. As without UPSR, students might enter secondary school without a clear picture of their strengths or weaknesses. As an example, when we took our UPSR, some of us might excel in language, and some of us might excel in some more technical subjects like science or mathematics. This helps us see what we want to take in secondary education, such as the science stream or the language. Okay, now we are going to move to our points on why abolishment of UPSR is a mistake. I'm going to pass this to my beloved friend Daus.
Yes,
The stage is yours.
So, thank you, Hafiz, for this very outstanding presentation. Now I'm going to discuss on why abolishment of UPSR is a mistake. So I am sure that the abolishment of UPSR has like a lot of mixed reviews and reactions. Some of them are in favor and some of them are against the abolishment.
yes.
No, it's okay.
Are you staying, Lukman?
Yes.
One of the main reasons why I think abolishment of UPSR is a mistake is that UPSR is known to provide a reliable national benchmark. Like we know, UPSR offers measurable data to assess educational quality. Like teachers, they usually use UPSR to measure the record of these students. Without UPSR, teachers have like difficult way to try to like assess these students if they are capable to move on to secondary education or not.
Yes.
Other than that, it ensures fairness by applying one standard to all schools. So secondary schools like SMA, SMK, and many other secondary schools.
Well done,
They
those.
have
Well done.
standards, you know, like certain schools have like standards, like some ones the students who have 4A, 5A in order to enter such schools. So they use UBSR to be able to know if the students are worthy to enroll in their school. And lastly is UBSR helps detect regional or socioeconomic disparities and learning outcomes. Using the data of UBSR, teachers can know when or how do the students experience drop in their performance. As you can see with the graph, average student performance with and without UBSR. So as you can see with UBSR, it's 3 subjects, they usually do well. Without UBSR, it seems that students, they seem to experience like quite a drop.
Yes. I agree.
Now we move on to other things. UBSR ensures academic preparedness. So UBSR confirms mentally in core subjects before entering secondary school. That's how Hafiz said that UBSR it ensures that the students actually knows a lot about the subjects before entering secondary school, such as the primary subjects like BM, BI, math, history, and such. Other than that, it acts as a nationwide academic checkpoint, just like how Hafiz said. There's checkpoints. Like we know that from USR, students with the PT3, SPM, and then so on to enter higher education. And it also helps identify learning gaps early. But this is more easily or commonly known to the teachers usually already identify learning gaps ever since the trial exam or even before the SPM trial exam. And they will be able to notice what is the problem with kids and assist them before they take USR. And it also prevents students from progressing with hidden weaknesses like in the Western academic system. They do not let you to lead grade if the student is not performing well. So if, for example, you are in 4th grade, you cannot go to 5th grade unless the teachers and the school knows that you are prepared and well for the next grade. Other than that, USR is discipline and accountability. It teaches students to quick time management and goal-setting habits. Like how students they will know how to manage time. They know that USR is important. So it will teach students to categorize time between when to eat, when to study, when to sleep. And also has the goal setting habits, so they're going to be like the first exam, they have like grades, and the next exam they are targeting to be better than that. They also encourage self-motivation through structured preparation, and also fosters responsibility for one's learning journey, which will teach the students to be more responsible, when it comes to life management. Also develop study skills applicable to our life, how we learn from the subject that we used to learn in primary schools. BI prepares us to speak with the locals or overseas. Math teaches us to know how to count. Science teaches us how life works, how this world works. But Lastly, UPSR promotes healthy academic competition. It motivates students to strive for excellence and encourage benchmarking and personal growth. So, in UPSR, I mean not exactly UPSR, more like examination. There's like top list, you know, like the one at the top is really students that have good grades and the ones that like progressively goes down, the grades is a bit low and less perform. And it breeds competition, like you know, maybe next exam I'll be able to outperform the top 5. And UPSR also builds perseverance and resilience in facing challenges, and also recognize effort and academic achievement. And this one, we probably recognize the graduation day, UPSR. After we get the results, they usually celebrate it by giving the students gifts, I guess. Yes. Maybe trophy for, you know, usually the top 10s are the one that gets the most love. Are you staying or something?
Yes. Okay. Now we move on to holistic learning versus academic assessment. So what is holistic learning? It focuses on overall student development. Holistic education emphasizes the nurturing of a student's intellectual, emotional, social, physical, and moral abilities. So its characteristic is crucial in developing the students as whole individuals, not as academic performance. And holistic learning also promotes learning world lifelong skills. It encourages essential 21st century competencies such as empathy, leadership, teaching, emotional regulation, elaboration, and ethical decision-making skills that go beyond tests and examination. And lastly, often misunderstood as anti-academic. Now, usually the holistic learning is usually the ideology of the people that is against more in favor of the abolishment of UPSR, because they think UPSR is way too limiting towards examination. So, I'm looking at this. Although of their position, in contrast to exam-focused education, true holistic learning doesn't exclude academic gain, it breeds them with emotional intelligence and interpersonal growth. So the misconception is they think standardized exams are seen as rigid and stressful. The key things, they often claim exams like UPSR, they only focus on memorization and high stakes pressure, neglecting creativity and deeper thinking. So they think UPSR only focus on the students memorizing the things that they learn, and then when the examination comes, they just write it on the paper and then they go. Which will lead to them just forgetting the information the next day. And many believe holistic learning and exams are incompatible. They think these two are not to be with each other. This must understand leads to a false divide, and though we must choose between nurturing personal growth or upholding academic standards, when in truth, both can actually and they can actually complement each other. So that's why we think UPSR can support holistic growth. It can provide data to their support. UPSR offers a standardized snapshot of students' academic progress. It helps teachers and parents identify strengths and weaknesses early, and this allows for timely intervention which supports emotional learning and confidence. Like what Ismail 2021 said. Next is UPSR, it enhances parental involvement in learning. So when the students know that the parents encourage and supports them, they are more, they have more
focus on their studies.
That's true, that's true.
Focus conversation at home about strength, area of improvement, and future goals, which is strengthening the home school connection. So that means even parents can even open conversation with their kids about how well the education is, and they can also talk with their parents on how they can improve their education. And UPSR can also develop important life skills. Preparing for a formal exam like UPSR, it teaches the student self-discipline, time management, and resilience. These soft skills are key elements of holistic development and directly applied to real-world challenges like what he said. And the last one, potential to evolve to 21st century learning. UPSR can be redesigned to include, that means it can be reformed. It doesn't have to be abolished forever. Open-ended questions, video projects, and collaborative tests. This is needed. Bridging the gap between content knowledge and critical thinking. So the bottom line is holistic learning is about an assessment, as a UPSR can evolve, not disappear, just reform it. A hybrid model offers the best of both worlds. Just combine both holistic learning and academic assessment, and boom, it will be a better UPSR.
Along, are you staying? Along, are you staying?
Now I give the presentation to Mr. Hafiz.
Thank you, Mr. PIRDAUS. That was a really beautiful and well-engaged presentation. Right, now I'll handle the presentation from now on. Okay, so the abolishment of UPSR as step 2-4. Okay, alright, now we will be discussing whether the decision to abolish the UPSR exam was truly the right way. Because we can actually just reform it rather than abolish the whole thing. It's logical, right?
Oh, you're right.
Totally.
Okay, now, why some support the abolishment of UPSR? So these are their views on why UPSR should be abolished. Where I don't think that they sound absurd. I accept them, but in my opinion, it should not be abolished. So here, I'll be taking their points and accept them for now. Okay. So for the first one, encourage rote memorization. UPSR focus heavily on drilling facts and exam techniques, limiting students' deeper understanding and critical thinking skills. This can cause stress and burnout at a young age. Thus, the pressure to perform well in a high-stakes national exam led to anxiety, long hours of tuition, and reduced playtime, especially for 12-year-old. Okay, 12-year-old. They think that they still need to play around, right?
Yes, they have to play. They have to.
Yes. Okay, now we got the students. They believe that UPSR has turned school into KPI-driven institution. So what is KPI? Okay, no one will answer it. So KPI is Key Performance Index. Schools Schools prioritize exam results over holistic learning, as performance rankings become the main focus for teachers and administrators. So some people doesn't like this idea. So they want their kids to learn holistically. Alright, next, limited teacher creativity and flexibility. Teachers felt forced to teach to the test, leaving little room for innovative, student-centered teaching methods or cross-disciplinary learning. And lastly, they hope for holistic education. Supporters believe removing UPSR will shift focus toward character development, soft skills, and a more well-rounded, less exam-centric education experience. Alright, here you can see a pie chart that I myself made. This pie chart is made based on a survey involving 1,014 parents that revealed 50% believe that UPSR should remain. 50, okay?
Wow.
Out of 10.
Oh, 50.
Marisa, stay with us now.
Again, if you guys will ask me, I will also be in the 50% if I will ask. Alright? And 35% supported these abolishments, while 15% stand on the neutral ground, stated by the Star Online Telegram. So, many parents express concerns about the lack of a standardized assessment to gauge their children's academic progress and motivation without UPSR. So, I think this is quite reasonable because without UPSR, how can we assess their children? Right? Alright, now SPM is a warning sign for the future. It is an alarming trend. Okay, back in 2023, our batch SPM 06, over 10,000 students skipped SPM in 2023. Alright, here's the point. Even with UPSR in place during their early years, dropout numbers were high, showing the fragility of long-term engagement. Even us who took UPSR are afraid to take SPM. So we got 10,000 absentees on that day. Without any assessment like UPSR, future cohorts might face even less structure, potentially increasing disconnection from formal education. Okay, imagine if us already with UPSR, 10,000 did not go to take SPM. What happens to the future cohort? That's the timeline graphic showing the old model. Age 12 UPSR exam exposure begins, and then age 15, 23 as 17 SPM. And then current model, new model, age 12, no exam, no formal benchmark, no exposure. Age 15, also no exam. Age 17 SPM, first big exam exposure. That might cause a lot of trouble. They might be feeling scared. Right. Alright, we're moving on.
Azamin, are you staying? Yes, I'm staying.
Okay, now what I stand with is reform above abolishment. UPSR should not be abolished. I really think that they should just reform it to be better. UPSR was not perfect. It is quite faulty actually, but we can fix it, not abolish it. So first, we can retain the standardization. Keep a unified national benchmark to ensure fairness and consistency across all schools, regardless of locations or resources. Standardized assessment help identify learning gaps early, ensure students meet minimum academic competency, and allow national level learning based on real data, not assumptions. It's not about one size fits all, but about making sure no one is left behind. Okay, next one, integrate holistic assessment tools. Project-based learning, real-world tasks to apply knowledge in meaningful ways, doing portfolios, oral presentation, and reflective self-assessment. So we can integrate holistic assessment tool in UPSR, not just by answering on papers. This can change the UPSR for the greater good. And lastly, to balance accountability and creativity, now we can set clear learning outcomes, allow flexible paths to achieve them, and lastly, support teacher innovation within structured frameworks. Right. Okay, now the negative effects on students. Right. So we got unclear academic progress. National exam like UPSR offered a standardized way, right? Yes. Performance and presentation. And next one, the poor preparation for exam culture without UPSR. Kids will be not prepared for the bigger exams like SPM. Alright. Lack of academic motivation. With the removal of UPSR, many years students no longer have a clear academic target to work towards, right?
Yes.
So now, what's their current objective at school? Just to play around. Now, inequity in school-based assessment. Assessment now varies greatly between schools. Students in well-equipped schools. Okay, this really shows that this is an unfair treatment based on the school that this kid studying. Alright, and now the effect on teachers. Okay, the first one, increase workload and pressure with UPSR gone. Teacher, we need to think and take full responsibility to design and administer a new kind of assessment with UPSR gone. They now prepare a range of tasks from projects to presentation. We are the one who need to do that. Yes. Okay, and next one, inconsistent evaluation standard. Without the national grading system, teachers may interpret assessment rubrics differently. So, we will not be assessing the student according to the evaluation standards from the UPSR. This will result in dishonest. Dishonest. Alright, next one is the pressure to inflate grades. In some cases, teachers feel pressure to give higher marks to meet current expectations or improve their school image. Lastly, shift from academic focus, a growing emphasis on non-academic criteria such as creativity, collaboration, or attitude can lead to less focus on core subjects like mathematics and science. Okay, last one, impact on parents.
Daniel, are you staying?
Okay, lack of clear academic feedback. UPSR used to give parents a complete indicator of their child's academic level. Now, without UPSR, what will we answer to the parent when they ask us? How
I don't know.
How's my son doing at school?
Oh my God. Very difficult. Very.
Yes. And next difficulty is identifying learning needs in the absence of standard test result. Parents find it harder to pinpoint subjects where their children struggle. Okay. Now, concerns about declining standards. Some parents worry that school-based assessment are more lenient and less rigorous. And lastly, increased dependence on school evaluations. Parents must now fully rely on internal school reports, which may vary in quality and credibility. See, I said again, credibility.
Okay, credibility. Okay.
Okay, now the final part, the conclusion. Alright, the decision to abolish UPSR may have been driven by good intentions. Okay, to reduce stress, to gain creativity, to focus on holistic education. But in removing it entirely, we may have overlooked the vital role early assessments play in building structure, discipline, and academic resilience. We've seen signs of the consequences already. Students feel lost without academic evaluation, consistent assessment standards, and even worrying trends in exam absenteeism. What we're saying is not that UPSR was perfect. It was not. But instead of discarding it, we could have transformed it into a tool that both challenges and support students. Reform UPSR could have struck a balance by keeping the structure while embracing innovation, upholding accountability while nurturing creativity, measuring not just what students know, but how they grow. So rather than abolish, we should think, but because real progress doesn't come from erasing the past, it comes from evolving it for the future. Okay, any session?
Anyone have questions?
I have a question
Yes.
for Anika. UPSR cause stress and group learning. Why not reform it instead of removing it entirely?
Thank you for the question, Umaira. That is actually a very valid point. We actually strongly agree that UPSR should be reformed, not abolished. Stay with me now. Reforming UPSR to include project-based learning, critical thinking, and self-assessment would be better than abolishing it entirely. Now, do you agree, Lukman? Yes, thank you. Does that answer your question, Sumaira?
Yes.
Lukman, you have a question?
Yes, I have a question for Tony. My question is, what reforms would you recommend if UPSR were to be reinstated?
Okay, so what kind of reforms, right? We will suggest that integrating open-ended questions or real-life tasks and soft skills evaluation into the UPSR format. See, we add holistic features in the UPSR format rather than just paper things. The Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay, last questions for those.
Yes, Alamin, very good.
What are some successful international models that balance holistic learning and standardized exams?
Oh,
Oh.
some of the countries that I can name is Finland, which they have minimal standardized testing, but they do have strong teacher quality. Thank you. And also school quality.
Take those. I'll say no.
You understand it now?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Very good.
Now,
The other country that I can name is Singapore. They have balanced academic exams, but they balance it with what? They balance it with project works
Yeah.
and character development.
That's all for our Q&A session, and that concludes our presentation today. Thank you very much for listening.